Year is 2003. MySpace is holding on for dear life. Your flip phone slaps shut with the same authority as a mic drop. AJ and Free have you locked in every day at 6 p.m., 5 p.m. Central for BET's 106 in Park. And MTV Cribs has everybody lying about how many rooms they have in their house. Except Redneck.
Y'all for coming out to Reds De La Casa. Hope y'all seen and enjoyed yourself. Next time y'all need to find me, just rub these 2 wires for the doorbell. I know it don't work, you ain't gotta knock. It works. Don't worry about the screen too. It's still good, this is what I like to do, man.
And in hip hop, one crew is running the whole conversation. A street team with a corporate budget, G-Unit. 50 Cent is fresh off Get Rich or Die Trying. The game has not even fully entered the Civil War chapter yet. Lloyd Banks is already the punchline sniper. Young Buck is outside with Tennessee Energy, and Tony Yayo is doing what Tony Yayo does. And in the middle of the group's dominance, one piece of jewelry becomes a character all by itself. The G-Unit spinner chain. Not just a logo, not just diamonds, a weaponized spinning flex. Rap jewelry always signaled rank. Rope chains in the 80s, Jesus pieces in the 90s, big medallions, princess cut, canary stones, all that. But by the early 2000s, the game shifted. The internet was growing, music videos had bigger budgets, DVDs, mixtapes, magazines. There were a lot of outlets to be seen, and we were all looking. So your chain couldn't just be expensive, it had to be identifiable in 1 second on a low-quality hood DVD cover and or on a standard definition cable TV show. 50 Cent understood branding before most rappers used that word seriously. He had the tank tops, he had the sneakers, he had the mixtape ecosystem. He started a hip-hop news website. He figured out the crew dynamic in a way where everybody had a role. And they needed a symbol that looked aggressive, mechanical, and unmistakably theirs. Enter the spinner. Designed by Benny the Jeweler, the chain emerged in 2003 alongside the launch of the G-Unit clothing line and the release of their debut album, Beg for Mercy. Its design was simple. A circle pendant with a G-Unit logo in the center that rotated, catching light from every angle, making those diamonds sparkle. If regular chains said, "I'm rich," this one said, "I'm rich, bitch!" Part of what made the spinner chain so iconic was psychological. Motion grabs attention faster than size. Pause. Your eyes also naturally track movement. So in a room full of diamonds, the piece that spins always wins. Rhyme by accident. The G-Unit piece blended 1. Crew identity, the G logo, instantly readable. 2. Mechanical novelty, the actual movement. 3. Street luxury posture. It was big stones and heavy ass shine. On camera, it was perfect. As 50 moved, talked, laughed, pointed, or performed, the centerpiece kept rotating like the logo had its own heartbeat. It looked futuristic for the era too. There were spinning rims, but somehow there had never been a spinning chain. And that mattered because 50's whole run was about momentum. He was not just dropping songs, he was dominating timelines before timelines existed. The spinner chain visually matched that energy. If G-Unit was a machine, this was the badge on the front of the grill. You saw it everywhere. Videos, award shows, interviews, mixtape covers, street DVDs, magazines, club appearances, and once the masses saw it enough, it crossed the line from their chain to the chain everybody wanted. This is where cultural significance gets real. The G-Unit spinner chain did not stay inside the artist class. It jumped into local malls, flea markets, beauty supply counters, and online knockoff stores. You had real jewelers making custom spinner pendants for local rappers, mid-tier versions for hustlers and promoters, full-ass fake versions for teenagers trying to look like they just got off the tour bus. That copycat wave is the proof of impact. People don't imitate what they do not care about. In that era, if you were outside, you saw some versions of that idea. Not always G-Unit branded, but the same concept. Spinning center, big pennant, motion first flex. It influenced how rap jewelry was thought about for years. Not just cost, not just carats, interaction, ingenuity, creativity. Your chain now had to be more than just flashy. People reduced early 2000s jewelry to everybody was just wildin'. But with 50, there was always a strategy behind the chaos. 50 turned things like the G-Unit chain into marketing. He understood controversy is fuel, visibility is currency, repetition is domination. The spinner chain sat perfectly in that formula. Think about it. Even when there was no album breakdown happening in that exact second, that chain kept saying G-Unit. Every clip became an ad. Every photo became a logo placement. Every appearance reinforced the brand architecture. Before creator economy language, before owned audience was a buzzword, 50 was building a multi-product empire off consistency. G-Unit was not only music, it was an ecosystem, and the chain was one of the most effective visual assets. The legacy of the spinner chain is bigger than nostalgia. 1, it proved jewelry could be branding and infrastructure. A chain could actually function like a sneaker logo or a team badge. 2, it pushed jewelry toward motion and engineering. Spinners, moving parts, transformers, hidden compartments, custom mechanics. The lane expanded. And 3, it documented the exact spirit of the early 2000s rap capitalism. Loud, unapologetic, hyper-visual, and built for replay value. And 4, it helped define G-Unit's military luxury aesthetic. Not delicate luxury, aggressive luxury. Do-rags and diamonds. Tank tops and platinum rings. Street pressure with boardroom planning. Even now, when people discuss era-defining chains, that G-Unit spinner gets mentioned with pieces that represented entire movements. Because it wasn't random, it was precise branding at scale. The chain also tells a story about aspiration in Black American culture during that time. For a lot of people, 50 Cent and G-Unit represented survival turned into success. Pain monetized. 50 took his street experiences and translated them into a wild enterprise. The spinner chain became a visual shorthand for that transformation. It was loud, yes, but for fans, it was symbolic. We came from nothing, now the logo spins when the light hits. That's why even fake versions had emotional value. Kids wore replicas not because they thought people believed it was real, but because it was a badge that represented the success they wanted for themselves that they could now see through 50 and his crew. This was jewelry as belonging, jewelry as motivation, jewelry as identity. You can call it materialistic, sure, but it's also part of how the culture tells its stories. 50 Cent and G-Unit were no different. And of course, none of this happens the same way without 50. But you gotta understand how ridiculously intelligent 50 is. His timing, his image discipline, his obsession with control, his ability to turn every detail into a talking point, that is what made the chain bigger than a fashion moment. 50 knew that in a crowded market, you need symbols. Songs chart, then move. Interviews trend, then disappear. But symbols stick in memory, and the spinner chain stuck. So when we talk about the G-Unit spinning chain, we're not just talking about diamonds spinning in a pendant. We're talking about the peak of G-Unit's cultural power. The evolution of rap jewelry as brand design in a period when hip-hop understood visual identity like a Fortune 500 company, just with louder music and better ad-libs. The chain was a flex, but it was also a blueprint. And that's why, years later, people still remember that spinning chain. Thanks for watching.